Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. When Patrick Bet David invited Mehdi Hasan onto his podcast, he probably expected to dominate the conversation with his usual anti-Muslim talking points. Instead, what happened was a complete masterclass. For 12 full minutes, Mehdi Hasan calmly but powerfully refuted and destroyed almost every single anti-Muslim argument Patrick threw at him on his own show. This is one of the best takedowns you will see this year. Today, we are going to watch the full 12-minute clip, and then I will break down every major point Mehdi Hasan refuted with Islamic clarity. Let's begin.
Do you think the West, when it comes on to West, Muslims can coexist with the West?
Took a handbrake.
I'm curious.
I'm Muslims. What do you think?
Do you think they can coexist?
Do you think I can coexist with?
I think you can coexist.
Why me?
Educated, you're a worker, you're now a capitalist, you're contributing, you're creating jobs. I would say you're net positive.
Do you not think most Muslims do that?
I don't think depending on where they're coming from, they don't, because if their countries did a good job, why would they leave it?
War? You know the big controversy in the UK over the boats, the small boats coming across the channel. Do you know what the top 3 nationalities are in those boats?
Tell me.
Iran, number 1.
Okay.
Afghanistan, number 2. Iraq, number 3.
Gulf states, how they perform per capita versus some of the other Muslim nations.
Okay.
Look at this one here.
Because they got oil and gas.
You think it's only oil and gas that's causing them? You don't think?
Did you know what these countries were like in the 60s and 70s?
Iran has plenty of oil. How come they're not in here?
Why do you think Iran's not doing well economically? Should I go through the list?
You're going to say it's sanctions. You're going to say it's
Of course I'm going to say
America.
sanctions. If there's an 8-year war that Iraq started and we supported, that cost $600 billion to Iran, that took out 1 million members of their population, and then was followed by crazy sanctions, are you telling me then that it's fair to compare that economy with Abu Dhabi?
So you just defended Iraq, right? That we backed up Iraq.
Yes.
That went against Iran.
Yeah.
How come they're not on the top GDP per capita on this list?
Do you know what happened to Iraq after the Iran-Iraq war?
So now you have another reason. It's America's fault again.
I mean, do you study history, Patrick? Do you know what happened in 1991?
No, on one end, you're saying this. On the other end, you say, no, it's because of this.
You're comparing countries. You're showing me a graph comparing countries that have never been bombed, invaded, and occupied with countries that have been bombed, invaded, occupied. And then you say, why is the GDP per capita higher in one, not the other?
Why haven't
That's an insane comparison. The 3 biggest refugee groups on the boats going into England are Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Coincidence? No, those are war-torn countries.
Subhanallah. What we just watched was powerful. Let me go through the main points. Mehdi Hasan destroyed one by one. Patrick tried to claim that Muslims coming from certain countries are a net negative. Mehdi Hasan immediately challenged him with facts and showed how Patrick was cherry-picking while ignoring Western interventions, wars, and sanctions that destroyed many Muslim countries. This is a classic tactic. Blame the victim while ignoring the root cause.
When it comes on to Muslims, 2020 vote to 2024.
I love you. You did whatever you did. You came back to Muslims. Why are you obsessed with Muslims? Because you left Iran?
You're raising your voice. Why are you screaming? I'm sitting right across from you, bro. Like, let's act American, not Middle Eastern.
You shouted earlier. You're an immigrant from Iran who came in as a refugee. Donald Trump would not have allowed little Patrick Bet David into this country. How do you feel about that?
You're so funny.
A genuine question.
You are so funny.
It's a genuine question.
You wouldn't have let little Patrick Bet
David. No Iranians were allowed in this year. You know, Donald Trump since October has allowed in 6,069 refugees only. Not 122,000, only 6,069. And do you know that 6,066, 99.9% of them are from white South Africa? Only 3 are Afghan.
Dude.
That's the numbers.
Are you serious?
That's a fact.
Okay, you're serious about
Pull it up, Rob. 6,000 refugees, all of them are white South Africans fleeing from an imaginary genocide.
The previous guy brought more people than 4 presidents combined.
Hold on, he brought in 125,000 refugees.
He's trying to say, guys, time out. Let's get jobs for our people.
No, we're talking about refugees. Refugees are different. It's not about jobs. Refugees, your international obligation.
Like you're talking H-1B, green card, which one are you talking about?
Refugees, vetted by, the vetted program.
Sure.
Where you're vetted abroad. You check you're not a terrorist, all of that stuff. What happened to you?
Yes.
Biden did it too. He allowed 125,000 people. He upped the cap. Trump dropped the cap with Stephen Miller to 7,500.
Okay.
And since October, he allowed in 6,069, according to the Washington Post.
I want to know where you're going with this.
He allowed in only 3 Afghans and 6,066 white people from South Africa. The 2 things I would say about that. Number 1, that's racist. You let in 99.9% of your refugees are white people who are not refugees, and you don't allow people from Iran, Iraq, Syria. And the second point is, Donald Trump wouldn't have allowed you into this country, and yet you sit and support. You voted for him 3 times. Donald Trump would not have allowed little Patrick Bet David into this country. How do you feel about that?
You're so funny.
A genuine question.
You are so funny.
It's a genuine question.
He wouldn't have let little Patrick Bett.
No Iranians were allowed in this year. So how would you have gotten?
You know what would have happened? We would have waited 1 more year, 2 more years
for a Democrat to come and let you in.
Bush Senior let us in. He was a Republican.
Don't act like a better Republican.
No, but that's
a non-racist
Republican. That's not the point. The part
that is the point. He did not allow in Iranians, Iraqi.
Mehdi.
Donald Trump has blocked refugees like yourself. Patrick Bet David would not have been allowed into America
find a way to get
under
here.
Donald
You
Trump.
don't know me
You would have
well
come in illegally.
I would have
You're
came here
pro-illegal immigration.
You're so
This
funny.
is so interesting
I would have
today.
made it here,
Pat,
buddy,
you heard it
legally.
here. You're going to clip Ilhan Omar, clip that. Patrick Bet David said if he wasn't allowed in illegally, he would come in illegally.
The difference between you and I, this doesn't bother me.
The most embarrassing moment was when Mehdi exposed Patrick's own contradiction. Patrick is Iranian-born, yet he supports Trump, who barely let any Iranians or Muslims in. When asked if he would have been allowed, Patrick said he would have found a way. Mehdi replied, so illegally. This exposed massive hypocrisy. Patrick wants strict rules for others, but admits he would break them for himself.
Why did Muslims become Republicans?
Gaza.
There
are other issues too. The bathroom transgender issue in places like Michigan, a lot of conservative Arab Muslims didn't like that. That was happening even before Gaza. No doubt about that. But it was still a kind of fringe issue. The Gaza genocide, you have to understand, I spoke to a lot of these people. I traveled through all these communities in 2024. And I tried to point out, yes, Biden and Harris are complicit in a genocide. No one's defending the Democrats. I was very critical of the Democrats and what they did between 2023 and 2024. But Trump will be worse or as bad. He's not going to be better. And people bought the Trump shtick. No, he's anti-war. He didn't start any new wars. He's not interested in the Middle East. He's friends with MBS. He's friends with Erdogan. It's going to be great. I met Palestinians who told me Trump will be better on Gaza. He's transactional president. They bought that shit. Look at him now. Look how many Arab countries have been bombed. They said legitimately to me, but we have to punish the Democrats. That was the line. We have to punish the Democrats. They can't be seen to get away with a genocide.
Out of curiosity, you have two people to choose as a candidate. One is a hardcore Republican, capitalist, pro-Trump guy who's a Muslim. Second one is a hardcore socialist, progressive, liberal who is a Christian. Which do you vote for?
Obviously, I vote for the person whose values and policies I support. I don't vote based on religion. Muslims are not a monolith. I don't agree with all Muslims. You just mentioned some of them who vote for Trump.
Do you think long term America will be at a point where we'll have a Muslim governor or a Muslim president?
Yes, Muslim governor, I think hopefully very soon.
Yeah.
Inshallah. President, I don't think for a while. Look, let's first get a woman president. This country is so behind the rest of the world. Pakistan's had a woman leader. Bangladesh has had a woman leader. Most European countries have had a woman leader. America still needs to do that basic thing. By the way, the big reason the Republican Party will not win over Muslims or Arab Americans in big numbers is because of the racism, Patrick. Fundamentally.
That racism is BS. I don't think
What? You don't think Randy Fine's a racist?
Randy Fine's not my guy.
But he's a Republican in foreign.
No, he's to me is.
You don't think Donald Trump is a racist?
Not at all.
When he says to Rashida Tlaib, you should go back to where you came from. She's
if
from
you
Michigan.
don't like America, go back.
She's born and raised in Michigan. That's racist, Patrick. When I grew up, you tell someone to go back to where they came from, you start a fight.
Listen, we're both
he calls
from the
Somalis garbage.
Dude, we're both
That's racist.
What do you say to some conservatives that are worried about Sharia law making it into America?
I would say, please do not worry. You're being lied to. You're being gaslit. You're being distracted. This is a fake moral panic that's been blown up.
Because it'll never happen, or because Sharia law is not that bad?
Because it's not. Two different things. Number one, Sharia law is not what you think it is. It's not happening. There's nobody I know who's pushing Sharia law in this country. It's completely fake, and it's being pushed in ridiculous places, not just Texas, Oklahoma, Indiana. Did you see the lieutenant governor of Indiana said recently, we need to hate Islam. It's a demonic religion, right? And I'm going to fight radical Islam and share it. Do you know what the Muslim population of Indiana is? Less than 1%. Like, this is ridiculous fear-mongering.
It has 3x the U.S., I think, in the last 26 years, if I'm not mistaken. Muslim population.
But it's still
not Indiana.
But it's even nationwide. What is it? 1 to 2%.
I want to say 4.5 million.
It's which is what?
Yeah, you're right. It's 1 or 2%. But by the way, you're 3x and in 26 years. Okay. It's not like you're not doing a good job. You're growing.
Please let's not talk in this demonizing way about Muslim communities being a threat to you, because it has real world consequences. We just saw in San Diego, a mosque was attacked by 2 Nazi teenagers who shot and killed 3 people, including the security guard, who had 8 kids. Police say he was a hero, saved 100 kids in that mosque, in the school, right? Murdered by 2 guys. Do you read their manifesto? The line about Muslims is really scary, because they say, we don't hate Muslims. We hate Islam. We hate the invasion of our country. That is rhetoric that you hear in right-wing media. That is rhetoric that you hear in the House of Representatives. That is what you hear from Randy Fine. That is what you hear from Republicans. That is what you hear in America. So that is not just some Nazi shooter. That is mainstream rhetoric that has been mainstreamed on the right, and has real-world consequences. I've seen some of your shows. You've talked about Muslims praying in Times Square, that being some kind of threat. I would say just have a sense of what the real-world consequences of our rhetoric can be. Words have consequences. Crazy people out there can pick up weapons and think Muslims are coming to take over my country. For example, you did a show recently, or not recently, I looked it up because I knew we were going to talk about Islam here. You have a show on YouTube called Islam's Hidden Threat to the West. You have another headline, Will Muslims Run America in 30 Years? But you have to understand, if people get this in their feeds and their social media all the time, are you telling me that people are not going to start, if they hear Micah Beckwith of Indiana say Islam is a demonic religion, and then they hear guests on your show saying Islam's a threat to the West, and they hear Randy Fine saying Sharia law has taken over America, you don't think two Nazi teenagers with guns are going to go, well, I'm going to go deal with this mosque down my street? You're telling me there's no link between that?
Yeah.
Come on. I'm talking about incitement. When you say Muslims, are they going to run America in 30 years? Of course not. We're 1% of the population.
I don't think so. No,
when you say Islam is a threat to the West, oh, come on, 1% of the population.
By 2050, you guys are going to be the biggest population in the world. You guys make 2.9
But not in America. Not in America. But look at the rhetoric that Nazis used about Jews in 1920s, 30s. These people are aliens. They are parasites. They're leeching off our state. The rhetoric is, it's very similar. So this is a myth that Muslims don't love America, and their families are worried for their safety right now. Every Muslim in America I know, trust me on this, I spend a lot of time with Muslims. Every Muslim I know is worried about what they're going to do. They have a plan B. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go live if it becomes intolerable?
Go ahead and leave America. How come they don't?
Because they love America.
That's the point. What if they feel the safest?
No,
here.
but what if it's changing, right? Especially when a mosque is attacked by two Nazis, Republicans can't even bring themselves to condemn it. Do you know that Ted Cruz wouldn't even condemn it? But on your show too, Patrick, come on, you did a whole thing, I watched it, of you obsessing over this Times Square prayer. Like this is some act of domination. Why are Muslims not allowed to pray in Times Square? Why are Jews allowed to do Hanukkah?
Expansion.
Why is Jews allowed to do Hanukkah? Hindus do Diwali.
You know what my argument is against that? You know what my argument is against that? If Muslims do a better job expanding, they deserve everything they get.
But it's not expanding. It's
no,
just
but it is though. No, it is though.
Changing the subject.
It is though. If Muslims, I'm a capitalist to the core, meaning if you beat me, guess what I do? You got to tip your hat.
Patrick pushed the usual fear-mongering about Sharia law coming to America. Mehdi Hasan destroyed this myth with actual data, showing that American Muslims are well integrated, support democracy, and that the Sharia takeover narrative is pure fear propaganda with no real basis.
Do you know at one point I was sitting down with Muslims trying to find out what things we have in common? Because to me, the LGBTQ, specifically on the T side, was getting a little too far. What is the Muslim position on LGBTQ?
Islam in general, obviously, I'm not an Islamic scholar, but Islam as traditionally practiced, like Christianity and Judaism as traditionally practiced, is very hostile to the idea of homosexuality.
Okay,
theologically.
So we have that in common.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me give you some polls, because you keep talking about Americans, this and that. So in 2017, Pew did a poll, and they found that Muslim Americans were more likely to say, 52%, I think it was, of Muslim Americans said that homosexuality should be accepted in society. You know how many white evangelical Protestants said that? 34%. 34%. Muslims were more accepting of homosexuality than white Christian evangelicals, right? So my question then is, when you talk about integration, assimilation, America is a liberal country. It's a pro-gay country. Whether you like it or not, they polled Muslims in the UK and the US. Guess what they found? Muslims in the UK and Muslims in the US support democracy more than non-Muslim Americans and non-Muslim Britons. Muslims in America and Britain support gender equality more than non-Muslim Britons and Americans. So for your viewers, I just want to make clear, you've been lied to about Muslim attitudes.
Mehdi also addressed marriage age, integration, and values, showing that Muslims in the West adapt and that many anti-Muslim claims are exaggerated or false. Overall, Mehdi Hasan remained calm, factual, and respectful while completely dismantling Patrick's arguments. This is exactly how we should respond to anti-Muslim talking points, with knowledge, confidence, and adab.
When it comes down to age for marriage in some of these countries, give you a rebuttal. I'm curious. So if a person comes from a country where, like in Sudan, the minimum age for marriage is 10 years old. Are you for that? I don't think you are. In Iran, the legal age for marriage is 13 years old.
Okay.
As young as 9 with parental consent. Are you for that? I'm certain you're not, okay? Yemen, no legal minimum age. 1/3 of women 20 to 24 will marry before 18 years old. Iraq parliament in 2024 moved to allow age girls to marry as young as 9 years old under Jafari school law. Pakistan, 1.9 million child brides in Pakistan, sixth highest in the world, okay? By the way, the good news with that, I want to give that credit as well. Islamabad, Capital Territory, just changed the minimum age to 18. Good for them. They're making progress. Nigeria, over 50% of girls married before the age of 15.
What's the question, Patrick?
This is the question. Culturally, if you're coming from this environment to America, notice I didn't say every other country that's coming from Muslim. If you're coming from that culture to America, does that coincide?
Number one, all of the social sciences show that when people move to a country within a generation, max 2, they do assimilate to local values. And I just gave you the numbers for it. Muslims in America and Britain who come from dictatorships support democracy more than non-Muslim Americans and Britons. The percentages are there. Data shows that within generations, they do not, they do adapt or do assimilate, integrate, whatever word. These are all loaded phrases. You're giving me these child bride ages. How many of the states in America had child marriages until very recently? What's the age of consent? What's the lowest age of consent in American 16, states till very recently? So when you're already at 13, 14, 15, until very recently, American states, that's now. You can see there are states that until very recently was 12, 13, 14. So America maybe doesn't get to give so many lessons on some of these things. And by the way, what is the biggest scandal in this country right now? It's the pedophile who was protected by the President of the United States. Donald Trump not just protected Jeffrey Epstein after lying and saying he would expose.
There are so many places I can go with that.
Please.
But I won't.
He also gave Ghislaine Maxwell a soft ride in prison. He also was going to appoint Matt Gaetz, a man who was accused by the House Ethics Committee of sleeping with a 17-year-old. He was going to make him Attorney General. Yeah. So please don't give lessons to other people now about ages of consent.
Patrick brought up marriage ages in some Muslim countries. Mehdi countered by pointing out historical and current issues in America and the West. While also noting positive reforms in Muslim countries, Mehdi addressed Patrick's fear of Muslims praying in Times Square, showing how this rhetoric fuels violence and hatred against Muslims. Overall, Mehdi Hasan stayed composed, used facts, and refused to let Patrick deflect. This is a textbook example of how to respond to anti-Muslim arguments with knowledge and confidence. Brothers and sisters, this debate shows us the importance of being knowledgeable about our deen and current affairs. Anti-Muslim talking points rely on emotion and half-truths. When confronted with facts and logic, they often fall apart. May Allah reward Brother Mehdi Hasan for his efforts and guide Patrick Bet-David and all those who spread misinformation. Ameen. What was your favorite moment in this debate? Which point did Mehdi Hasan refute the strongest? Let me know in the comments. If this video benefited you, please like it, subscribe, share it, and turn on notifications for more strong Islamic commentary content. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khair for watching.